No doubt D&D is hot right now. Cannot deny it at all. And as more and more people are being drawn into this hobby through Critical Role, Rick and Morty, Stranger Things, it's also attracting a younger audience. And a lot of parents, maybe you've played this game before, I'm seeing online they're asking, when can I introduce my kid to this game? When is an appropriate age for them to jump in and join a game? And that's the question I'm going to answer today. My name is Shane, I'm a professional dungeon master, and today I'm going to talk about how old can you start your kids playing Dungeons and Dragons. Short answer, right now. Start, doesn't matter. Any age you can introduce a kid to a game that is purely imaginative play, where it's just decision making. Take a look at this picture. So this is me, and I've got my 3 kids sitting down at a table. You might see I've got the D&D Essentials kit sitting there at the table with us. But notice none of us have any books, none of us have any pens or paper. All you see is a 3-year-old dressed up in his knight costume. All I'm doing with them is describing events as they take place and asking them what they would like to do. That's it, pure and simple. There's no dice, there's no writing, there's no math. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons. We're just leaving out the rules. That's it, video over. See ya, done, I'm out. Just kidding. So really though, I found from my experience, all you need is a basic understanding of arithmetic, reading, and writing. That's it. Decision making, a dungeon master can help them through the game, making those decisions that may be harmful, those that could be helpful, and the rest will come with time. The Dungeons and Dragons rules might be overwhelming for a lot of young players. Those that haven't fully developed their reading and writing skills, those that are still learning some basic arithmetic, that might be struggling with even addition and subtraction. Think 2nd, 3rd graders. But you can still have a meaningful experience playing Dungeons and Dragons with younger players. You just have to meet them where they're at. Don't try to make them play like adults. You may have to help guide them along the way, but as long as they know reading, writing, math, they'll be all set. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I would know when it's appropriate to introduce kids to Dungeons and Dragons. Well, I first off have a kid that I've introduced to Dungeons and Dragons. I've seen him progress through the years in his understanding and ability to play the game. We even now have a Twitch series that we put online for people to watch, and he does it without any hesitation. He puts himself out there showing himself playing Dungeons and Dragons. I've been a professional dungeon master for some time now. I have also been a dungeon master for new kids coming in to a local game store. I've had kids that I've taught to dungeon master. So that's where my experience lies. So you might be asking yourself, how can I introduce my kids to Dungeons and Dragons? Maybe you're a parent that just wants to do something fun with your own kids. Maybe you're a teacher who wants to try something new to help kids coping with social distancing and lockdowns, get some social interaction outside of the school environment. Pick up this Essentials kit. They sell it everywhere. Target, your local game store, Amazon. Go and pick it up. It's got everything you need to start a game. It's got an adventure book. It's got rules. It's got maps. It's got little handout token cards that you can use. It's even got a set of dice. Everything you need to start playing Dungeons and Dragons is in that Essentials kit. Go out, get it right now. Be a dungeon master. Play Dungeons and Dragons with your kids. It is amazing. If for whatever reason you don't want to be the one to run these games for your kids, that's fine too. There are plenty of places where you can join games for kids, even online. I, for example, specialize in dungeon mastering for kids. You can go to beholdgamers.com and sign up for our adventure guild. We're running a session right now, a classic dungeon crawl. We're having a blast. Go ahead and check in, see if we have anything available for you right now. Hopefully we do. Stop by your friendly local game store. See if they have an online game for kids. I know many of them do. But if you want to do something great with your kids, Dungeons and Dragons is the way to go. I promise you, you will have a blast. Now let's say you do find a game. In person, online, whatever that may be. How do you know if it's the right group? Well, talk to the group, talk to the players, talk to the dungeon master. Find out if they're dealing in adult content. Find out if language is going to be a problem. Well, language shouldn't be a problem. I've got pediatricians that told me I should use adult language with my small children, and I am an expert at adult language. Oh, no, not that. I guess that's not what they meant. Make sure that the game that you're signing them up for is appropriate for them. Talk to the dungeon master, make sure that it's not going to be a problem having a younger person sitting at the table with a bunch of players that are not used to it. Players are just as important to the experience of a child playing Dungeons and Dragons as is a dungeon master. You can sit a kid down at a table with a bunch of experienced adult players, and if they're not welcoming to your kid, it'll ruin the experience forever. I've had that happen before. I've seen it, I've been there, I know what it's like. But I have also sat at tables where adult players will help kids get into the game. They will be the ones to help coach them and teach them and help them do what they need to, taking a lot of that burden off the dungeon master. If you can find a group like that, it is perfect. That is the best place for a kid to learn to play Dungeons and Dragons. And dungeon masters, if you have a kid sit down at your table and you need to manage everything else, one thing you might consider is asking one of your players, hey, take this kid under your wing, help him out. Get him or her through this game and let's see where it goes. That would also be a really cool way to use sidekick rules when you're playing the game. Think of it this way, a kid sits down at a table, give him a sidekick character to play, pair him up with one of your more experienced players. Now that player has a sidekick. They get to play their full character. They're helping out the kids sitting down next to them. They're a team. It works wonders. Granted, sidekicks will not give complete player agency when they make their character, but it will allow for them to experience the game in its most basic form. But sidekicks are streamlined. They're super simple and they fit the basic tropes that we associate with Dungeons and Dragons. You've got a wizard, you've got a healer, you've got a fighter, you've got a rogue. What else do you need? Just go out there, get into the adventure, have some fun. All you need to do is take a sidekick block, combine it with a monster stat block, and your character is done. You have nothing more to do. You can even level up a sidekick. If you decide to turn that sidekick character into a full-blown player character, then it's time to roll some dice and make some decisions. And at that point, when a player is comfortable enough in the game, they're probably ready to make that full player character. So get your kids playing Dungeons and Dragons. I promise you, you will not regret it. It is going to be so much fun. Get out there, get playing, have fun, and learn lots.
Health department.
Floating down together.
Yeah, I know the health department is gonna. Yeah, and if the health department ever sees those two dead bandits with blood in the water.
Who did this? It's a travesty to nature. There's a druid somewhere down the river.